My name is Richard. I'm a psychotherapist and coach, and today I want to tell you about two subtle but powerful reasons why you may feel stuck with your therapist without realizing why. This video is going to be part of a mini series on my channel where I critique mainstream psychotherapy, but more importantly, offer positive, generative, productive solutions to those critiques. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to do personal growth better. I'm just going to jump in right away and tell you those two reasons, and then I'll explain them and paint a picture of how these fit together to stifle your psychotherapy experience when they happen. Reason number one, your therapist's performative compassion. Reason number two, your therapist's intellectual distancing from you. Okay, so what do I mean by these things? Performative compassion. Well, I want to say right away that, of course, real compassion is a good thing. I made a whole video just on love recently, so go check that out if you are interested. What I mean by performative compassion is a kind of persona that many therapists put on for a variety of reasons, but many do. And so, what do I mean by that? Well, we all know the cliche of a therapist. We have the phrase therapy speak. There's the therapy voice. Oh, and oh, we're so nice and we're so sweet and loving and ah, we encourage you. I'm being a bit ridiculous, but the point is everybody knows what that kind of vibe is. So why would this be problematic? Like, how could I possibly have a problem with somebody being so sweet and nice? Well, it's important to understand how that kind of behavior impacts a relational process between two people. This is the key. When somebody is a barrage of nice, a barrage of sweetness, it actually functions like a defense because to the client, it's like, wow, this person is so nice to me. They care so much about me. I don't have any space to be critical of this person, to be upset, to say that something isn't working for me, even to be mad or enraged at them, or maybe even to feel sad or something because they're so busy being so sweet. Like, what right do I have to have all these negative emotions with this person that's just kind of perfectly nice? Now, again, this is kind of an extreme that I'm painting, and every individual therapist probably has a little bit of this, and many of them have a lot of this. So it really depends on the individual. I want to be very clear about that. But to the extent that they are like this, it will be problematic. And performative compassion feels very different from real compassion. Real compassion will feel like it's opening, like it's building a connection. And performative compassion will be like, gosh, this person's so nice. They're almost like too fragile to really like be real with. The second thing, again, is intellectual distancing. What I mean by that is that many therapists are not just kind of stuck in their heads, but maybe totally lost in their heads. Many people enter the field of therapy because they are wounded in childhood and they seek to find a way to feel both control over other people and a level of distance or dissociation from the messiness of human affairs, from the messiness of their childhoods. Now, on the one hand, this isn't even really a problem if they do their own personal work and build a relationship with all that is going on within them. But many therapists don't do that piece. And so, what does that look like in the room with them? They have all these diagnostics and psychological jargon, and they kind of sit back and they interpret you from afar. They're the expert, you're the lab specimen. They are the mechanic, you are the broken machine. And they will keep distance from you through their interpretations, through their analysis, through their diagnostic categories. And you will feel that. You will feel that they are not in it with you, but that they are merely observing you like a primate in the jungle or something like that. The implicit message of that stance is I am not broken like my clients. I am above the fray and the muck of human life. I am outside of it. I am just an observer. I'm not going to step into the ring. I'm not going to get my hands dirty with my clients. I am just here to be somebody that's kind of special and knows more, and that's my function. When you put these two things together, it's a kind of uh, castle wall that's created. The implication is I can't criticize my very sweet, compassionate therapist. And also, they seem to get it. They understand things. They have all these great ideas. They always seem over there like, wow, they just know what's going on. And I'm over here. I'm broken. I'm messed up. So, I guess there's a real gap. There's a real distance between us two. That is the effect of this. Why would this be infuriating? Maybe it's just like, it's not really working or something like that. It's because there is an inherent aggression in the intellectualization, in the performative compassion. These are actually pushing out your experience, and you will feel it. And the bind that you get put into, this is what's really fascinating psychologically about this dynamic. The bind that you will be put into is, I feel like there's a lot of aggression coming towards me at a kind of like unconscious deep level. But what I see is a very pleasant person. How could I ever be mad at this person? That's the bind. It's like the ultimate passive aggressive stance that is totally effacing of so much of the real vitality within you. That is why your nice therapist is infuriating. Why does this matter? I mean, you still may be wondering, okay, so what if they're performatively compassionate and they're distancing? They're still giving me these cool ideas, and that's what I'm there for. I'm hiring them to give me some insights or something. Okay, I want to explain why. This is very, very important. And I will tell you how I learned this lesson through my own experience. When I first started on my therapy journey, I was a client of therapists. And I've seen many, many therapists as a client over the years, some for many years, and many through a variety of training programs that I've done. I've done a ton of training programs. And so I have quite a sampling of different behaviors of different therapists. And for many years, I thought I was doing real work. This is very important. I thought I was doing real work. I was there and I was thinking really hard, and they were analyzing me, and I was taking a lot of notes and journaling and doing a lot of effort. And in retrospect, I got almost nothing from those experiences. Maybe a little bit, but so close to nothing. It would have been better that I wouldn't have done it at all. Why? Because they were not in it with me, because they were distancing themselves from me. And all of those dynamics that I just described earlier, where the unconscious message was, I'm the one that's broken, I'm messed up, my anxiety is my problem, my confusion is my problem. If I can't do this, it must be about me. When did I discover that this was a problem? Well, I finally found some practitioners that were not therapists, that were not trained to dissociate in distance and, quite frankly, dehumanize their clients as the mainstream psychotherapy profession does. And it was a revelation for me. And it was a deep recognition in me that the thing I had been searching for without quite consciously realizing it was not just a real possibility in the world, but something that I literally needed in order to continue my growth journey. What was that? They were in the relationship with me. They were not taught to distance themselves. They were not trying to use me and my suffering and vulnerability and even trauma in order to puff themselves up and appear smart and capable and holier than thou and whatever. They were in the mud with me. They got their hands dirty in real life. They were willing to have a real human relationship with me. And that's what changed everything for me. My personal growth went exponential when I finally found people that were willing to be with me in that way. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have boundaries. And, I could see, if you're a therapist watching this, oh my gosh, boundaries, blah, 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 blah. But no. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're just like buddies and like hanging out or something like that. It just means that within the professional container that they created, they had an emotional, energetic, heart, soul, gut presence with me. This is so important because so much of human relationships happen unconsciously. We pick up on unconscious signals. And I believe there's a deep wisdom to this regulatory mechanism that says, this person isn't safe to go there with yet. I can feel that they feel uncomfortable with this part of me. I can feel that they have not made a relationship with this part of themselves yet. And so this isn't safe, and I'm going to hold back. And that might not be conscious. Very often it's not conscious. You will subtly pick up on, this person just isn't going to be okay with these feelings. And this will leave you, the client, in a bind. I'm here to process these feelings. This person can't handle these feelings. Therefore, I must be bad. I must be broken. These must be bad feelings. These kinds of feelings are not welcome. And it just reinforces the original problem of your childhood that you came to try to work out with them. So that's the problem. If you are a client in that kind of therapy relationship, you might feel bored, stifled, kind of like how you'd feel if you were stuffed in a closet. Just like, ugh, it's kind of stuffy in here. Can't really wiggle, can't really move. It will feel flat. The energy will feel flat. That's a really key indicator. Um, and you will notice that you're just not making progress. It'll feel like you're on a merry-go-round, like you keep talking about the same stuff, but nothing's really happening. Like, why don't I feel like my life is changing? I feel like we're doing work here, but then I don't know, are we? So if you're in that kind of nebulous, stuffy, bored kind of zone, if you're like me, the way that I used to be, you might feel infuriated at the space, the tiny little space your therapist is trying to put you in without even realizing it. For many people in our society, myself included, aggression was very repressed. Anger was very repressed for me. And so it just showed up as a kind of low grade, subtle anxiety when I was with these therapists. And when I tried to talk about it, this is the key. This is how you can test if it's you or them. When I tried to talk about it, they couldn't handle it. So if you want to know if this is my problem, or at least more my problem or more their problem, the test is simple. Try to talk about it. If you talk about it and they show curiosity, oh, you're anxious. What would the anxiety say? What are you anxious about? What would you imagine would happen? What are you worried about? If they show curiosity, that's a really good sign. You're bored in here. Well, I don't want you to be bored. What are we doing that's so boring? What would you rather be doing? What would you rather be talking about? What are you afraid to talk about? What are you afraid I will do or say to you if you start talking about those things? If you get questions like that, that's a very good sign that actually the kind of stifled energy is actually in you. And you've been holding back, and they are holding open the door. They're waiting for you to step in. They're ready for you. So I'm painting kind of two extremes, but like one extreme is welcoming, and the other extreme is they get really angry with you. They become very defensive. Well, this is my method, and if you don't respond to it, then I mean that's your problem. And so whatever that might be, or maybe they just kick you out. Maybe they just fire you. There are people out there with such a low capacity for criticism. What you are looking for is somebody that welcomes your vitality. And so this gets to, I talk about this more in other videos, so I won't get into it too much here. Healing is vitality. It is from fixity to flow, as Peter Levine would say. You are looking for an experiential relationship that welcomes as much of your wholeness as possible and helps you to cultivate it, organize yourself, build emotional capacity. The reason why the aloof analyst that just offers their intellectual interpretations while they scribble notes and the reason that doesn't work is because it's not a real human experience. I can't emphasize that enough. That is the catastrophic flaw at the heart of mainstream therapy. See therapy as an experiential practice, not an academic affair, as a human journey shared in relationship, not as something where you are a broken machine that comes in to be fixed. I hope that this video has helped you to understand why you may be unconsciously infuriated with your present therapist or coach and what you would want to look for to find somebody that would serve you better. If you want to learn more about me, check out other videos on my YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I really want this life-affirming way of relating to ourselves and others to be shared. I think it's a much better version than so much of what I see on the internet and certainly in the psychotherapy profession today. So if this resonates with you, please help me to move these messages and ways of being into the world. Thanks for listening.